Okay, so this video is going to be a complete change of pace. I'm not going to get into politics in this. I'm going to talk about how I feel social media has ruined dating and has ruined a lot of relationships. I'm going to be speaking in general terms, right? But particularly about women. So I don't want anybody to say, oh, who hurt you, or oh, you're so bitter. Because anytime you give any sort of an opinion in terms of dating and women, for some reason, all these people got to come out of the woodwork. All these girls get upset, and it's like, listen. I'm not saying this is about every woman. Every woman's not the same, okay? I'm not saying every woman is like this. The things I'm going to say in this video applies to everyone. If it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply to you. Don't get offended, okay? So now let's get to it. Back in the days when you used to meet people organically, like in the real world, before all this social media nonsense, you used to have to actually go out to meet somebody, right? Maybe you had to go out to a bar or a club, or you had to meet somebody in school or in work through a mutual friend, or even just, I don't know, in a park, wherever, right? You had to actually physically leave your house in order to meet somebody. And you were only in contact with just a finite number of people, just a very small number of people. Now, I'm not even going to get into dating apps and the dumpster fire that's dating apps. I will get into that in the next video I do, because I got a lot to say about that. So I'm gonna start with the nightclubs and the bars, and I'm gonna explain how I feel that the whole nightclub thing and meeting people in the bars and stuff like that, that absolutely got ruined and destroyed by social media. Now, some people say, "Oh, you listen, you can't meet anybody good in the bar and all this other stuff." Look, I met some pretty decent people in bars and lounges. I met some terrible people there too, but I've also met some terrible people in at work, or in school. So you never know where you're actually going to meet a decent person. You can't just say, "Oh, you can't meet somebody decent here or there or whatever." But I did notice a shift in energy going out to the clubs. I noticed the whole vibe. Before, when you used to go out to a club or a bar or lounge, a lot of people used to like to go out. They used to like to go out to meet people, right, and to interact with people. Not necessarily even hooking up with people, but just to talk to people. They did it for entertainment, or they just like to socialize. So they went out, to have a good time and maybe to potentially meet people. So when you went out, like people, most of the time, people were kind of like looking around, like looking for some sort of entertainment, right? And to interact and to talk with people. That started to change once social media really blew up and all the apps were on people's phones and everything. I started to notice a huge shift. And people, when they were out, everyone's head is like just buried in their cell phone. And at first, I was like, I don't understand. Like, why are you gonna go out if your head's gonna be buried in your cell phone? I mean, the cell phones are an addiction. That I am very aware of. But people weren't really as open to meeting people and talking to people and stuff like that. Instead, their heads were just buried in their cell phones, not really even talking to people. Instead, talking to their followers, on Facebook, Instagram, all these other places, and they were just busy taking selfies in the club or taking videos of the club and trying to show how great their life is and how much fun they're having, but they're actually really not having a good time. But another thing I also noticed too was that the flaking started to get a little bit higher. Now flaking has always happened. Like you go out, you meet somebody, you never know what's going on in their life, right? At that moment, they might be somewhat interested. At that moment, they might have gotten into a fight with their significant other, so they're like, oh, let me get to know this person, this guy or whatever, and then the next day they make up with them. I mean, it could be a million different reasons why people flake, but it started to get kind of higher and higher. The flaking started to go up. And the reason why I feel that is because you're in contact with so many people now. You're not in contact with a couple of people. You used to meet people before, they're talking to like one or two people. Now they had 100 people in their DMs, maybe even more, because guys are thirsty. So there's too much. There's too many people communicating now, right? It's too many people trying to fight for somebody's attention. So when people would go out, they really weren't as motivated to meet people and to talk to people, because it's like, well, I got all these other people. So then they start flaking, like, got 100. Well, I don't want to hang out with this guy. Like I got 100 other people hitting me up to hang out. Thirsty in the DMs and messaging and texting and all this other stuff. So that there was a definitely shift within that. So people also actually started to become very narcissistic after time on social media. With all these selfies and pictures of themselves and just a self worship. And listen, I don't even really blame the women necessarily. I blame the guys, because the guys are thirsty, right? The guys are always commenting and liking, oh my God, you look so beautiful. And like they're kissing girls' asses that are like, semi attractive, maybe not even attractive. And they're just trying to smash. But now all those girls are gassed up because all these guys are commenting, so it's really what happened. Then the whole narcissism thing it's really the guy's fault. The primary blame falls on the guy. Everyone is just feeling themselves. Everyone's great. Everyone's talking about so highly of themselves, you know? Like, and a lot of these people you know in real life, like, and I'm like, you're really not shit in real life, so I don't know what you're talking about, like that you're a bad bitch and you're this and you're that, and like you know, you're such a great person, you're not a good person, you're a piece of trash. But anyway, you know, so before, the whole thing with attention, you know, the average girl, you know, only got a little bit of attention, right? But now the average girl now is getting probably more attention than the really hot, attractive girl used to get before social media, because of social media. Because now you have access to all these people. There's always people commenting and everything. A lot of people have overinflated sense of ego and of self value. You know, they're somewhat delusional, I would say. And you know, you got all these thirsty guys now in the DMs, and you know, you got guys flying girls across the country. You got across the world, for that matter. You got guys offering to play girls' bills, and you know, all this stuff, flying them here, there. You know, it's insanity. It's insanity. And I don't blame the girls for taking advantage of it. Listen, I mean, if it's these guys are paying, you know, what are you gonna do? You know, if I was a girl, man, I'd probably take the money. You know, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, that's kind of like, guys have ruined it also too, you know, by spending money on girls you're not even dealing with, like that, like girls that don't even like you. And with the relationships, I feel like it's ruined a lot of relationships too, because you know, now people are looking at other people's relationships, which 90% of the time it's fake, you know. 90% it's smoke and mirrors, theatricality and deception. All these people, you know, post about how great their life is with their significant other, and like, when you actually know them, you know that they hate the person they're with, they can't stand them, you know. But they're looking at other people and they're saying, "Oh, I wish I had this life, I had that life." You don't really know what's going on with somebody's life, you know. It's awful. Also, it's offered a lot of temptation now, you know, because there's always somebody in your DMs. You know, it's like you might get into a fight with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and now you feel like, "Oh, well, this person will probably treat me better because this person's always telling me about how good I am and how they would treat me." And guys are always like, you know, watching. There's always somebody in the shadows, you know. Um, because now people, you know, they document their entire relationship. It's like a documentary series. They every single detail of it. So when people break up, people know, you know. So then the guys, they're jumping in there, they're shooting their shot, you know, and there's all sorts of buffoonery, all sorts of fuckery, you know, going on now. I just feel like people don't value people anymore, because you're interacting with so many people that it's almost like an unlimited supply, unlimited resources of people, right? So you don't value the people that are actually in your life, like your real life, and people who have been there for years. You know, it's like people become somewhat disposable commodities. You know, and in relationships, obviously, you know, people are just jumping from person to person to person. You know, it's like there's no loyalty. It's just like they're basically like leasing a car, right? And they don't pick up the option to buy the car. So they're just like, well, I'll get a new car. That's it. You know, and you see the cycle, you know, it repeats itself, because you see these people, they're so in love. Oh, my love of my life, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then gone. Then there's another one, and it's like a copy and paste. They're saying the same exact thing about the new person that they were saying about the guy that they just were with, and then the guy before that, and the guy before that. You know, it just goes on and on and on. We're not meant, as human beings, we're not meant to interact with the number of people that we're interacting with now. You know, we used to live in these like small tribes and everything. We're not wired for this. You're not supposed to be in contact with hundreds of people, thousands of people. Like, we're this the world we're living in, it's just not natural. We're living in sort of a Matrix, Westworld type of. It's just very, very weird. You know, I mean, what the hell do I know?